Alberto El Patron, aka Alberto Del Rio, is very busy these days wearing many hats. And I think he likes it too. He is helping hype Combate America's MMA and is also starting his own pro wrestling company, which I think fits him great, along with Chavo Guerrero Jr., Nacion Lucha Libre in Mexico. But it'll branch out a little bit too. We'll get into that. Thank you so much, Alberto. How has wrestling changed, or has it changed when you were first starting to wrestle?
Well, thank you so much for taking your time to help me with this interview. And, well, it has changed a lot. I mean, it's a different game with ups and downs, but at the end of the day, the pro wrestling business, as long as there's fans and there's wrestlers, the business will continue for eternity.
What will Nacion Lucha Libre bring to pro wrestling?
Well, I think for the fans, we're bringing all the great luchadores, the great wrestlers from Lucha Libre in Mexico. Because if you see the names working in this company, you know we have the best roster in any organization in Mexican territory. For the wrestlers, that's a big difference between my company and the other ones. For wrestlers, since I'm a wrestler, I have the privilege of being in both sides, in the office and in the ring. I know how it is. I know what a wrestler need. Me, like many other wrestlers around the world, I have been having great times with promoters or promotions, and terrible times with promoters and promotions. So I know what I have to do to keep my talent happy, and especially in Mexico, because I know here in the States you have many things. You have doctors, you have good facilities, you have a ring in good conditions to work, to perform. But in Mexico, it's not like that, and that's all the stuff that we're going to be giving to the talent. They're always going to have a good ring to perform. We're going to work in major venues. We're always going to have a doctors. They're going to have health insurance, life insurance, the stuff that they don't have in any other company. So you know that if you keep your talent happy, they're going to give more than 100% in every single show, and the crowd will see that and they will appreciate that.
You've worked for many companies, big and smaller, and you mentioned about medical. And how important then is that? You very concerned with that, especially just with all what you all do in the ring and the injuries, and to offer something like a health insurance and have doctors available. This is groundbreaking to a degree. I know WWE does their own thing too, but a lot of wrestling companies do not do that, correct?
Well, most of the companies, including WWE, because WWE, they have their own doctors, but WWE doesn't provide you with a health insurance. They actually force you to get your own insurance. If you don't get your own insurance, your own health insurance, they don't let you perform. If anything happens in their shows, yes, you're completely covered, which is, I think, is the only company doing that. And me, I remember having a terrible injury. I think it was like 8 years ago, and they took care of everything. And I think that's the only company doing that. But they don't actually provide you with a health insurance. You're just covered in their events. But what the insurance I'm going to be given to all the luchadores, wrestlers in Nacion Lucha Libre, is going to cover them inside and outside the ring. So it's really important to give a worker everything they deserve: health insurance, life insurance, retirement plan. It's stuff that they never had before.
Alberto, why do you think it's never been done before?
To be honest, and I want to be brutally honest with this, is because at the end of the day, for promoters, we're just meat. We're just another name. They don't really care 100% about us. They care about us while we are on top and we're producing money for them. But it's the nature of the business. business, and it's not just a pro wrestling business. It's any other sport, boxing, MMA, any other sport is the same. As long as you bring something to that company, they make you feel like you are the only one. But in reality, is they're only looking for their own interest and to help their bank accounts. At the end of the day, that's the way it is.
Nacion Lucha Libre is taking a different approach when that comes to it. Alberto Del Rio, Alberto El Patron, he's telling us that what he's going to do for his talent. Chavo Guerrero Jr. is also a big part of this. How did you join with Chavo? Who contacted who? Whose idea was this?
Well, it was me bringing Chavo on board. And Chavo's one of my best friends inside and outside the business, and we used to work together in WWE, Lucha Underground, and he's one of the most creative person in the wrestling business. You know, he's been in this business for 3 generations. So in the moment we started putting Nacion Lucha Libre together, I immediately thought about Chavo, because I remember the good stuff. The good stuff from Lucha Underground always came from Chavo. That company had amazing things and good things, and also really bad things, like any other place in the world. But Chavo was one of the ones, or the one, like when we saw something cool, like that storyline between Johnny Morrison or Johnny Mundo or Johnny, well, just Johnny. I don't know which name he's using these days. When we did that storyline, it was amazing, and it was written by Chavo, and for many other reasons, right? When you have a company, we know that the pro wrestling business is a beautiful business, but it's a dark one. You need to watch your back all the time in this business, unfortunately. So I'm surrounding myself. I have the perfect example of how to run a business and keep my people happy. I got it from my boss and friend, Campbell McLaren. He's doing such a great job and amazing things with Combate Americas, where to me was almost impossible. I believe it because I'm there, but it was almost impossible for me to believe that something like this was possible in the fighting business. You know, having the people working in the office and the talent happy and everybody taking care of each other. And my boss has accomplished this, because you know, when you have the main person in the company being an honest person, you pass that into your employees, into your fighters. Of course, you have to surround yourself. Your teamwork, the people working in your team has to be like you. You have to have people with good hearts, with good intentions, and honest people. So following that example, I'm doing the same here in Nacion Lucha, and I'm surrounding myself with real friends, real people with talent, and of course that's when Chavo came into this whole idea of Nacion Lucha.
And you mentioned Campbell McLaren of Combate Americas MMA, and in saying that, what you said about him and seeing that passion and positivity, I'm going to ask you, that helped lead you to do this promotion? Is that true? Also, because of the success in America, the early success of AEW, did that also play a role in saying, hey, now this is a good time? Did those two factors weigh any role in your mind?
Well, it was just seeing and spending so much time with my friend and boss, Campbell McLaren. You know, I've had the privilege, the opportunity and the privilege of being with Campbell McLaren for over 5 years and learn a lot of stuff from him about their business, about life, about how to keep your employees happy, how to make people happy, how to surround yourself with the right people. And also with Combate America, seeing the way they're doing it, the way we're doing it all across the continent, and specifically here in the States with the Latino community in Mexico and the rest of Central America and South America. I have the blueprint to do what I wanna do with Nacion Lucha. So it was completely Combate Americas, learning him from my boss how to do something great when you have the talent and you have the passion. So I have the talent in my roster because, as I mentioned before, I have the best roster in Mexico. We all have the passion, and with me giving the wrestlers what I know they want, stuff that they never got before, I know they're gonna do amazing things for our company.
Will you still be involved with Combate Americas? Because it does take a lot of time to do a pro wrestling promotion.
No, I'm going to be here. Combate Americas, and I'm starting with Nacion Lucha, and luckily for me, my boss is my friend before being my boss. So he understands my passion for the business. He knows pro wrestling has always been my first love, and he has always let me do whatever I want to do with related to wrestling. And of course, I have to split myself between Combate and Nacion, and it's a lot of work. But again, when you have the passion and the will to do something, you can do it. And I'm doing all the events with Combate Americas. I have a lot of people helping me. That's why I got people like Chavo, like Daniel Leal, like my sister, helping me run the company, because I need to have people that I can trust. If for whatever reason, or if I'm doing an event with Combate Americas and I cannot be there, I can have somebody that I trust to be running or to be taking care of that business down there in Mexico.
Both families are tremendous when it comes to pro wrestling, your family as well as Chavo's family. And you mentioned your sister, and I was going to ask that question. Will any members of your family and Chavo's family be helping with Nacion Lucha Libre?
Well, yeah, my sister is she's the one that helps me run my business here in the States and also in Mexico, my real estate business, with my properties, and when I had the restaurant, she was the one opening my eyes about the situation, letting me know that my business partners were just stealing money from me. So that's why I decided to shut it down. And now she's running my gym here in San Antonio. She helps me with pretty much everything. And of course I have her in Nacion Lucha to help me run that part of the business in Nacion. And the Chavo family, I only have Chavo, but of course we are completely open to bring more Guerreros family. All of them are my brothers inside and outside the business. The Guerreros family, the Colon's family. I've been in conversations with Mr. Carlos Colon to possibly do something in Puerto Rico with them. So I'm surrounding myself with the right people.
Alberto, do you already have a plan of about how many shows you want to do?
Well, we already have completely confirmed and completely paid 37 shows. I'm not doing this like many other promotions where they wait to sell tickets to pay the wrestlers. I'm not doing that. I'm a smart person, and again, I surrounded myself with people with experience and knowledge. So with experience and knowledge. Sorry, my brother interrupted me. What was the question again? So sorry.
You know, how many shows are you expecting to have? Do you have a plan for how many shows?
I got it. Yeah, I have those shows completely confirmed, because I'm not waiting for us to sell tickets to pay the wrestlers. I'm a smart person. I'm surrounded with smart people with knowledge, and we got sponsors. We got investors in this company, following again example of my good friend and boss Campbell McLeod. So we have the money to pay the venues, to pay the wrestlers, every ticket. So everything is covered for those dates. After we did the press conference, we had a lot of promoters calling us to do live events. So far, all my events are TV events, paid by sponsors and investors. Of course, we're gonna do what we do in pro wrestling. We're gonna sell live events, and as I just mentioned, after the press conference, we had a lot of promoters wanting to bring Nacion Lucha to their cities. Of course, we continue searching more investors, people calling from South America, even Japan. But we have to walk before we start running. We're gonna have our first event pretty soon in July 11th, and I know it's gonna be a complete success. We already have the other companies, especially one in Mexico, being scared of us coming into the scene, and they're trying to do absolutely everything to stop us from having this new adventure, this new company. But we have a really good group of people, and this Nacion Lucha, it's already rolling, and nobody's gonna stop us. This is just gonna be like the snowball effect. We were rolling, and we just wanna get bigger, faster, and better.
And that first event will be Friday, July 11th in Mexico City, Mexico. And if I'm reading correctly, you also have TV lined up. The shows will begin airing Sundays, July 13th, 10:30 p.m. And that'll be on the, am I saying this right? Imagine TV?
Imagine TV, exactly. Imagine TV, it's perfect for us. They are the number one network in Mexico for the demographics that we need. They are the number one with people between 12 years old up to 36, which are the demographics of wrestling. So that tells you that audience is the one that is going to be enjoying our product. In the past, we had AAA and CMLL knocking on Imagen's door. They wanted to take their product to their TV network, and they said no. I'm happy that they opened the door for us. They liked what I proposed them, that they liked my idea of what I'm going to be doing with this Lucha Libre company, and they said yes to us. So hopefully we're going to be growing together and making business for many years to come.
And Alberto, on that note, is Campbell McLaren then involved with Nacion Lucha Libre?
He's not involved. He is a little bit, because every time I need an advice, I go to Campbell. Campbell, again, he has been fantastic to me, and he's helping me not only in Combate Americas, not only to grow in the company in Combate Americas, but also to do other business, other business like Nacion Lucha. So every time I need something, I need an advice, of course I go to Campbell, but he's not like directly in the company.
We're going to get to Combate Americas MMA, and thank you so much, Alberto. I want to say, this is interesting now. Hear me out on this. So, big show coming up Friday, July 11th in Mexico City. And I'm wondering if not on that show, maybe down the road, could we see Alberto wearing the mask again?
Yes, well, that's going to happen for sure. I've been having a lot of fans in Mexico asking me to do it. I kept saying that would never happen because, I've asked many years ago. But my dad asked me to do it not a long time ago, just like 2 months ago. He asked me if I would do it again because he would love to see me wearing his mask one more time. So now I have to do it. And sorry for not doing it before for the fans, but I have a lot of respect for the Mexican Lucha Libre tradition. And in my mind, I was thinking that if I removed the mask, there was no point for me to wear it again. But since my dad is asking me, I just want to make the old man happy,
Yeah, this seems like a great time, too. You have your own company starting to come back, have a match with the mask. It just would seem like that would be great. Hey, also, and we're going to segue to Combate Americas, but I want to ask you this about Nacion Lucha Libre. Do you plan to have shows in America?
Do I plan to have what?
Shows in America.
In America, yes. We were already, because we were with Combate Americas in Hidalgo, Texas, McAllen, Texas,